Hi, I'm Dr. Megan, Sport and Performance Psychologist, and here are 5 tips to help you be mentally prepared for your next competition. The first is to really pay attention and make sleep a priority. Sleep has a huge influence over our ability to perform. It impacts things all the way from our ability to focus, reaction time, speed. Also, our probability or possibility of getting injured increases when we're really tired. And so 2 things to think about before your upcoming competition is to regulate your sleep cycle. So it takes 3 sleep cycles or 3 nights for your body to regulate to that. So if you choose a consistent sleep or bedtime and a consistent wake up time for a few days leading up and prior to your competition, your body will naturally be winding down around that bedtime and be more awake and alert in the morning when you wake up. So really focus on regulating that sleep cycle for that week before your competition, and also really emphasize 2 nights before your competition. Sometimes the night before we can be a little bit nervous and our sleep can be less restful, but if you're really focusing on your sleep 2 nights before the competition, making sure you're getting a really good night's rest, that maybe restless night of sleep the night before competition will be covered. The second tip is to make a list and focus on all of the reasons why you have the ability to do well. Write a list of all of these successes, the great workouts that you've had, previous games or competitions that you did well. It's really great to have a list of concrete things that you've been doing recently in practices and in games and in workouts to help you remind yourself of all of the reasons why you have the skills necessary to get out there and compete. Sometimes when we compete, our brain can focus on the negative, especially in a really stressful situation or moment. So it's really beneficial to write these things down beforehand so you have that list to refer to. You've done the thinking before your competition. And if this is something that you keep up with, maybe you choose to write 2 or 3 things after every practice, the list kind of makes itself over time, and so it's a great way to keep an eye on your progress and remind you of the ability you have and the skills necessary to go out there and compete. The third thing is to focus on the things that you do know about your competition or performance. So our anxiety is fear of the unknown. So before a competition, it's really beneficial to write a list of the things you do know. You do know maybe where the competition is located or the order of events or what your warm-up is going to be. Maybe you know that you're hydrated and what you're going to eat the day of competition. You know that you've been paying attention to your sleep, and you know that you've been practicing and training, and you know the partner you typically you warm up with. And so all of those knowns that you know about a competition are really helpful to really engage your focus on. And again, having that list is beneficial. Now, being that anxiety is fear of the unknown, a second part to this is looking for opportunities to make things known. So maybe if you're unsure of what that competition or meet is like because you've never been there, ask teammates, ask coaches what their experience has been. If you're staying at a hotel, maybe call the hotel in advance, see if they have mini fridges if you have certain foods you like to have while competing. Google map the distance between your house or your school that you're leaving from and going to compete at. See what the gym looks like. And so you can make certain things known about this upcoming competition that can help alleviate some of those unknowns, therefore decreasing some of that anxiety. The third thing is to visualize yourself succeeding. Having successful images of yourself in your mind, whether it's a practice or competing. Maybe you've never competed or you've never done this certain event before. That's totally okay. Your brain, if you're visualizing yourself doing it, actually can't tell the difference of whether you're actually doing it or not. And so visualizing yourself being successful is very helpful and motivating, and it's a great thing to do leading up to and the day of your competition. Finally, you really want to pay attention to your thoughts. You have to choose your thoughts rather than allowing them or letting them choose you. This is something that definitely takes practice, but you can do beyond just leading up to or during a competition. And so it's starting to pay attention to your thoughts and making and establishing a mental game plan to put your thoughts in a direction that are going to be helpful for you. So maybe that's a positive mantra, maybe that's a positive word or phrase, or maybe it's your goal that day to not put any focus on your competition. And so anytime you feel your mind shifting in that direction, you make a plan of what you're going to do to redirect it back. Now, our thoughts sometimes seem like they can get out of control and they get ahead of us, but I promise with practice, they are something that you can choose to control, and I encourage you to try it out. It's really, really helpful. And a little bonus tip to help that brain put those positive or keep those positive messages in It can be helpful to write maybe that positive word or phrase on your hand, or paint a nail a different color, or put something in your visual field to remind your brain of those positive messages. And so I hope these tips are helpful in unlocking your MVP mindset in your next performance.